Hello everyone, John here. Now, I spent a few days wondering how I was going to start this continuation of a series that I fully expected to be many failures to point and laugh at. I have decided upon just getting straight back into it. So, we're back with Pikachu as she sweats in a heatwave, trying to pull together enough bits of cactus to create a passive cooler. Oh yes, your small wooden box versus my son. I'm cowering now. Ladies and gentlemen, Phlegm Crevice. Oh, an introduction. How lovely. A deity of formidable will and dexterous mastery. Oh, well, maybe. With nothing better to do than bother me when I'm trying to tickle the algorithm. Really? I get Pikachu to start building a little wall. The passive cooler doesn't do too much, so a smaller space to cool will be useful. And I help by teaching Flail to her stomach. Two can play at this Pokémon game. Historically, yeah. Pikachu tries to use rest, but I'm worried the heat stroke will knock her out and end the run, so I get her to push through, sweaty and trembling. Oh dear, she's learned acid spray. Pikachu can't learn acid spray. Was anybody told her that? It's electro web. She's making a hammock. Not one I'd like to use. She's fine. Just needs to get those 2 grains of rice down her. It's units, not grains. Oh, more hammocks, is it? Pikachu decides the chance for sleep is over. The working day has begun, and I and ah over whether to send her back to her sick room. In the end, I conclude it's probably best if we stop her breaking for blocks and prepare a meal of probably vomited on berries and agave. As she gets back, it starts to rain, and this added discomfort makes her whole body flail into the dirt. She goes back for her knife, and I send her back for the food, which she does indeed throw up on. As she's heading back, we get a message that an 8-year-old who used to be called Ketzrath has decided to join. Now, I took a minute here to decide what I wanted to do, even scan the outskirts to see if I could check this child out before accepting. You'd leave a child to fend for itself? Well, it's all part of the loose rules I jumbled together last episode. And if it's a baseliner, I guess I could make it fight the ostrich. You monster! We'll see. Accepting the child means naming the faction and settlement. Randomizing gives us the faction name of Northeastern Delta Federation. Not to be confused with the Southwestern Delta Federation. Never. And names the settlement Hans Meyer. Is that a swamp of the Hand or a bog belonging to somebody called Hand? Seeing as this is an arid shrubland, I'm going to go for option C. A complicated or unpleasant situation from which it is difficult to extricate one's hand. What? Like when you tried to grab the remote before Graham sat on it, but weren't fast enough. Ew. Snodford T Hedgehog, everyone. Yes, the T stands for the. That's it? I thought it was Trevor. And here's the child, an impid, which means 2 things. Firstly, somebody up there loves me. Like I'd send a child you'd have to banish. Secondly, he's going to need a name, which we'll get to once he's cleaned up some of this electric netting. Ah, she slept in it! Told you. Hammock. Just ignore Red Rodobalo. We're going to be at war with the Breaksos tribe before long, what with the squatting in their shed business. With a spare colonist, I think it'd be a good idea to mark some ready-ish plants for harvest. Build up a little food for when Pikachu is feeling better. Impids are of course genetically predisposed for plant work, what with everything bursting into flames at their touch. So we'll start another rice field and be really happy when Pikachu gets out of bed feeling much better not long after. Though heatstroke is still getting her down, another reason to be happy we got ourselves an Impid. Imagine if it had been an Eterkin. Next time, send Hairy Man. Making notes now. Never you mind, focus on what you're doing. What I'm doing is giving our Impid 8-year-old the only Pokemon name that makes any sense. Everybody say hello to Charmander. Now with children I'd normally be worried about them defending themselves, but Charmander knows Scratch straight out of the ball, with Slash a little later on down the line, and also knows Ember. If anything is still hyper-focused on him whilst bleeding and on fire, it should at least give Pikachu time to get in a quick attack. Oh, very good. Yes, I just made my alter ego commend my pun work. Pikachu then cooks and eats the very first meal made at Hans Meyer before settling in for the night on the floor. Charmander takes this time to do some stargazing, which somehow counts as learning, though how long it takes to learn stars are higher up than clouds, I don't know. Pikachu's still struggling in the heat, though not enough to not sleep, and as it turns morning, Phlegm throws us our first real quest. A stash of valuables that turns out to be an Archetype capsule. Something we'd need to apply Archetype genes to a Xenogerm. Yes, never having played, I didn't actually know what this was, but it seemed to be worth an awful lot of simoleons, so you're welcome. Silver, not simoleons. And if I'd replace my sentence with something we'd need to apply ointment to the rash on my Thrumbo, that'd give you an idea of how useless it is to me right now. What's a Thrumbo? It's what you get when you're bitten by a Bermuda Emberlin spider. Lost for ads. Snod! The stash is miles away, through mountainous terrain and a cloud of pollution. I doubt very much we'll be sending the only almost adult, or the child, to get it. With the food poisoning behind her, it's time for Pikachu to get back to breaking down the nearby structures for materials. And we'll interrupt Charmander's timid nature running to quickly nip the multiple agave away, so that Pikachu can cook a little snack, then a tiny buffer of hopefully not quite as high chance food poisoning food in the form of some delicious berry and agave meals. Prepare yourself, I have let loose the dogs of war. Well, okay, the bunnies of a stern talking to. For foes like these, we can't be too careful. Best get Pikachu and Charmander drafted and into position. And here they come. Pikachu used Punji Stick. One hit KO. Hare was knocked out. Here comes the second. Pikachu used Open Door. Hare is confused. Hare headbutted Door in its confusion. Ah, balls, it's going for Charmander. Get in there, Pikachu. Oh, for... Finally. One Hare, death in 19 hours. Flemothy used bunnies. They were super effective. Yeah. Just get Pikachu to patch him up and hope the damn thing doesn't get up in the interim. And then we'll get Pikachu to finish the Hare. Don't worry, she's using Tickle. And I think that's where we're going to leave it. Technically speaking, this is still all part of episode 1, as we haven't touched any gameplay from my second play session. But I still think it's pretty obvious why I haven't gotten this far in this challenge before. And not due to difficulty, just my ineptitude. I hope you found something to enjoy anyway, and hey look, I made a second episode. Would you believe it? That said, welcome to Crumpet Sounds if you're new, welcome back if you're not, and thanks for watching. Goodbye. Well, I guess this means we'll be working together more. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Just being me. That's good. Oh, and I'll talk to Snodford about his faux pas. Don't you bloody dare, that was the best bit.